Hello everyone and a very good morning to you all. So guys, let's start the fresh day with the fresh perspective on the newspaper analysis. So guys, I welcome you all in the Hindu newspaper analysis. So guys, in this session we are going to have the detailed analysis on the entire Hindu newspaper. Not only will be seeing the news, rather will be seeing as what is the background, what is the present concept and the way forward associated with articles. Meanwhile, a very good morning to everyone. Amit, Anonymous, Shams, Manoj, Shivarth, Pallavi, a very good morning to everybody. So guys, let's start first of all by having a kind of a overview on the entire newspaper. Now understand one thing very carefully, that only those kind of news are important on which a question can be framed on by the UPSC. So let's see. So now here we have the page number 1. The first article talks about that the government has announced that the 10 lakh persons will be given the government job in next 18 months. So we will be understanding the entire issue of unemployment and how this particular thing will be helping out. After that, the next article, WPI inflation quickens to record 15.9%. So this is historic. Inflation has reached to such a high level. So though the retail inflation is coming down, but the WPI inflation has reached to 15.9%. But guys, you don't need to see this particular data because it will be changing very frequently, and by the time you will be writing the newspaper, this particular data will not be relevant. So everyday data is not important. Then the political news etc are there, you don't need to see. Moving on, after that guys, city section, important articles are not here. Again the state section, all the political news etc, advertisements etc are there. So you need to simply skip this entire section. Directly will be coming to the editorial page. Now on the editorial page, the first article, cold comfort. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking about that little bit retail inflation has come down, but still the WPI, we have seen it onto the first page also, it is very much high. So basically the numbers as how the inflation is basically behaving, it first of all it went up, then little bit down, then up, down. So these datas have been given. Now guys, again I am telling this particular thing, data will not be relevant by the time your exam will come. So not very much importance is there in this particular article. Then guys, after that, end of the war. Now this article is talking about that the Russia Ukraine war is going from so many of the days. Now the responsibility is on the Russia, that Russia should settle this particular war. Okay, already Russia had taken large number of areas from the Ukraine. A fatigue has come, Russia should end this particular war. Is it clear? However guys, you don't need to see every day where the war is going on. Everyday development we need not to see in this particular direction. Then again the Russia Ukraine war, it's fine. So just one thing you need to remember, that basically where this war is going every day, it is changing very drastically. Fine. So everyday development, ball by ball commentary is not needed. Keep this particular thing very clearly in your mind. Now this particular article, malnutrition in India is a worry in a modern scenario, a very good article talking about some of the practical recommendations and talking about the state of malnutrition in India. Very good data have been given. So this is an article which will be important for our exam. We'll be seeing this article in detail. Then the way to end child marriages, again a good article. We are going to see this particular article also. Dictates for the doctors. So guys, it talks about the draft regulation for the conduct of the doctors. Fine. We'll see that what is important in this article. Then moving on, the text and the context page. Now on the text on the context page, can the new Google chatbot be sentient? So guys, neural networks and the Lambda, the neural network platform of Google, the AI, fine, all these things we are going to see here. Then coming below, a closer look at the Reuters Institute Digital News Report 2022. Now guys, this is also a very good article. Actually, some of the datas have been provided here which can be used in our answers to substantiate our answers. So this article we are also going to see. Then managing your finances from the command line. So certain commands have been given with respect to how, for example, how to check basically, for example, your credit card bill, okay, and all those things. Fine, not important for your UPSC. Please don't go in this article. Then moving on, after that guys, political news etc, please remove it. However, here the Agnipath scheme has been mentioned. So this Agnipath scheme is a very good basically article. We'll see this. Then moving on, after that, here we can see again the unemployment has decreased, says the labor force survey. So PLFS have been released. We'll see what are the issues which have been provided here. Then guys, moving on, India must insist on return to status quo on border in talks with China. So we see this particular thing that still the basically kind of a deadlock has been there in the China and India onto the LAC. Though there are many of the frictional points which have been resolved, but still there are many areas which are not properly resolved up till now. Then guys, a new plan to save the jumbos from train hits. We'll see this particular article. Some very good suggestions are given. Youth avoiding news, says Reuters study. We'll see this particular thing. Then elderly lack financial and social security. So again, with respect to the vulnerable sections, we'll see this particular article. Then guys, on to the world page. Find the Joe Biden to visit Saudi Arabia to interact with MBS. So basically the plans are there. So when he'll visit, we'll see what will come. Till then, nothing is relevant in this particular article. Russia cuts off last routes out of eastern Ukraine. So the development of Russia-Ukraine has been discussed. Nothing relevant is there. Then guys, moving on to the business page. France total to buy 25% stake in Adani Green. A corporate news, not a very important for us. Fine. Air Asia to fully acquire Air Asia. Air India to fully acquire Air Asia. Fine. Then basically much of the important articles are not there onto this particular pages. Fine. Now guys, then we have the sports page. Okay, so this was the overview, and there are today actually large number of articles which are relevant, and now let's discuss all these articles one by one in the detail. Guys, see, the purpose of giving you an overview over the newspaper is to teach you how to identify the newspaper articles that are relevant, so that in future you can do at your own as well. Now let's start the newspaper analysis in detail. So guys, as we used to do, we will be starting with the a quote which could be used in your GS answers. So today we'll be taking the quote from the Martin Luther King Jr., the American civil rights activist. Now Martin Luther King Jr. had talked about that what constitutes violence. Martin Luther King, he says that non-violence means avoiding not only the external physical violence but also the internal violence of spirit. You not only refuse to shoot a man, but you also refuse to hate a person. Is it clear? So guys, a physical verbal abuse is not only the violence, rather a spiritual abuse, hating a person, not giving the recognition of a person, not giving the dignity to a person that a person deserves. This is also a form of a violence. So spiritual as well as physical violence, both are to be avoided. Now this is a very excellent quote that could be used in GS paper number 4, ethics, integrity and aptitude. When we talk about having the compassion towards the people, not only basically when we talk about having the tolerance, having a kind attitude towards the people, fine, such kind of a thinking also will be important. Now moving on, so taking up the first article. So guys, here what we have done, actually we have clubbed 3 of the articles. All of these 3 articles are related to each other. The first article, this is from the page number 1, 10 lakh person to get government jobs. Then guys, the Agnipath scheme was mentioned after the editorial page, and then the unemployment has decreased, the labor force survey has also been provided. So let's learn this entire issue, let's understand this entire issue. Now guys, understand this particular thing, that see, first of all, where this article will be important, I'll tell you this thing. This article will be important in GS paper number 2 in the issues of poverty and unemployment, as well as this particular article will be important in GS paper number 3, the economic issues, the state of Indian economy, because in Indian economy the poverty, unemployment will again be issue. So poverty, unemployment, GS2, GS3, both places it will be important. Now guys, understand this particular thing. See, now in order to make sure that our population is doing well, in order to make sure that our population is economically well off, we need to see that how many people are actually employed, how many people are unemployed. We need to see this particular thing. And in order to measure the employment at the regular levels, government comes out with multiple surveys. Okay, now guys, earlier what used to happen, till 2017, the NSSO was the organization that was coming with the surveys onto the unemployment. But guys, the NSSO was coming with the surveys at the interval of the 5 years. Now you understand this particular thing, that 5-year horizon is a very long horizon. So therefore, after 2017, government decided that in order to measure the unemployment in India, we will come out with a new regime, and the periodic labor force survey was started in 2017. So now if we talk about the unemployment, it is measured by the periodic labor force survey. Now, who carries the periodic labor force survey? Periodic labor force survey is carried by the NSO, National Statistical Office Organization. Now, the NSO, it is under the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. So, NSO under the MOSPI, it carries now the periodic labor force survey. It measures the unemployment in India. Now, guys, who suggested that we need to come out with this periodic labor force survey? It was suggested by the Amitabh Kundu Committee, important fact for your prelims examination. Now, guys, the periodic labor force survey, it is more regular, and now the latest periodic labor force survey report has been released, and this latest report talks about the state of unemployment in India. Now, the data that has been given here, it is very important for you guys. You need to use it in your examination. Now, before moving into the report of this periodic labor force survey, I will tell you certain concepts. These concepts are very important in order to understand this particular data. So, guys, first of all, we have the unemployment rate, we have the labor force participation rate, and we have the worker population ratio. Let's understand this particular data, guys. First of all, what do we mean by the unemployment rate? Now, guys, unemployment rate, first of all, I will tell you what do we mean by the labor force participation rate. That is, I am going to tell you. Suppose in a country there are 100 people living. Now, guys, all these 100 people don't want to work actually. Fine. Let's say into these 100 people, 20 people are preparing for the UPSC. Now, these 20 people, they don't want to work. Even if the job is being given to them, they will not take the job because they want to prepare the UPSC exam. Then, guys, let's say 10 people in this country, they are the children, they are the minor. They don't want to work because they have to study, and even they are not allowed to work. Fine. Then, guys, let's say that the 20 other people are there which are old people. Okay, they are now 70-80 years old. They can't work and they even don't want to work. So, guys, what we got? We got that there are remaining 50 people. Now, guys, these 50 people are those people who actually either they are working somewhere, already they are working. Let's say they are searching for work, they are looking for work, okay, and third, they are available to work also. So basically, the labor force participation rate will include these people only. Keep in again your mind what labor force participation rate of a country includes. It includes the people who are either working or who are looking for the work, or third, who are available for the work. Fine. So see this particular thing. Labor force participation rate defined as the percentage of person in the labor force. What it is labor force? Working, seeking, or available for work. Now, guys, the next comes is the unemployment rate. It's the unemployment rate. Okay. Now, guys, what is the unemployment rate? Now, we have the labor force. These 50 people, for example, were the labor force. These 50 people are the labor force. Now, guys, I told you that in this labor force, 3 type of people are there: working, looking, and available for work. So the people who are unemployed out of these 50 people, they will be actually be called as unemployed. Okay. Today you are a student, you don't want job, you are not unemployed. Are you getting? Keep this thing in your mind. You are student, you don't want job, you don't come into the definition of unemployed people. Okay. Then next is the worker population ratio. So what is the worker population ratio? Out of the total population, how many are the workers? How many are the working? Is it clear or not? So these are the 3 concepts that you need to have. Now let's see the unemployment in India. Now, first of all, guys, the labor force, now what is the name of this particular survey? Periodic labor force survey for the year 2020-2021. This is the latest that has now been released. So, guys, it talks about number 1 about the periodic it talks about first of all the labor force participation rate. ठीक है, labor force participation rate I explained you. So what is the state of labor force participation rate? It has actually increased in India. Fine. Now the labor force participation rate is 41.6%. Last year, that is 2019-20, the rate was 40.1%. So from 40.1% it has increased to 41.6%. It means that out of total population of India, 41.6% people are in the category that they are working either, or they are looking for work, or they are available for work. This is the labor force participation rate of India. Now guys, many a times female labor force participation rate of India is asked into the question, or we use it. So what is the female labor force participation rate? 25.1. Out of the total females, these many females are either working or looking for work or available for work. Fine. So this is about the labor force participation rate in India, number one. Number two data that has been given is that what is about the unemployment in India. So this periodic labor force survey says, the latest one, that the unemployment rate in India has actually decreased by 0.6%. Right now the unemployment is 4.2% in 2021 compared to 4.8% in 2019-20. Clear? You just don't need to remember the data of last year. Just remember whether unemployment is reducing or unemployment is increasing. So what it says, that unemployment has reduced. Okay, again 4.2%. it means out of, now guys, the concept should be very clear. Concept should be very clear. I told you this particular thing, that out of the labor force participation rate, who is not getting the job, he will be called as the unemployment. So 4.2% people are not able to get a job who are actually the part of the labor force participation rate, workforce. Clear? Now worker population ratio has now increased. Fine. Right now it is 39.8%, increased from 38.2%. It means out of total population, these many percent people actually are workers. Fine. So this is the third important data that has been given. Now guys, understand this particular thing. You need to have these particular data. थोड़ा सा आपको इन डेटास को याद करना पड़ेगा. Fine. Why? Because when you are writing the answer, let's say on to the unemployment, you need to authenticate your answer with giving the data. और वहाँ पे डेटा ही नहीं चाहिए आपको डेटा का सोर्स भी बताना पड़ेगा. So you need to remember the data as well as source. It will authenticate your answers. Fine. Then it also had talked about the migrant. Now guys, migrant के ऊपर बहुत बातें हो रही हैं. Why now we are talking more about the migrants? Because of the reverse migration crisis that happened in 2020. You know, large number of people walked back. Fine. So now talking about the migrant, keeping their data has become very important. Clear? So now first of all, the periodic labor force survey has defined the migrant. Who are the migrant? कौन migrant होते हैं? Now migrant का definition is very important because guys, even in GS paper number 1, migration is an important topic. So ध्यान से सुनना, the definition of migration given by periodic labor force survey. Now the migrants are the household members whose last place of usual residence was different from the present place of enumeration. Last place of residence is different from the present place of enumeration. Clear? Let's say your last place of residence was Bihar. Presently you are in Delhi. Fine. So your last place of residence was Bihar. Present place of enumeration is Delhi. You are a migrant. And what are the number of migrant? According to periodic labor force survey, there are 28.9% migrants. 28.9%. Very important data. So guys, now see this particular thing. We got the unemployment rate in India. What is the unemployment rate and how to calculate it? I had explained you. So what is the unemployment rate in India? Unemployment rate right now in India is 4.2%. 4.2%. Now on face it might look a less number, but guys, it is actually very high number. Right now we are facing the 45 years of worst unemployment. The rate above 4% is actually very much high. So because there is so much high unemployment, now what are the solutions? So guys, government had come out with the twofold solutions. Number one, what government has done? Government has come out with the Agnipath scheme. Government had now come out with the Agnipath scheme. This is something that we are going to discuss first. And secondly guys, government had said that within the next 18 months 10 lakh jobs will be provided. Okay, these are the solutions by the government, way forward by the government. Now first of all, let's see this Agnipath scheme. What is this? So guys, the Agnipath scheme, on your screen you can see certain snapshots. Fine. And moreover guys, another thing, this entire PDF I had put onto the Telegram channel. Please download that PDF. You don't need to write every data. Directly download this entire PDF that I'm using from the Telegram channel. Now, what is this Agnipath scheme? Now guys, this Agnipath scheme, it is released by the Ministry of Defense. Released by the Ministry of Defense. Under this particular scheme, what will be happen? The youth will be basically hired as the soldiers in the 3 wings of our defense forces. Is it clear or not? In the army, in the navy, in the air force, 3 wings, the youth will directly be appointed or hired as the soldiers. So basically Agnipath scheme will be applicable to the youth in the age of 17.5 to 21 years. Now see, all the enrollments into the defense forces will be by this Agnipath scheme only. Fine. Now guys, basically the youth, they will be hired initially for the 4-year period. Is it clear? Now after the 4-year period, they will be given an option that either they can quit, they can find another employment, or secondly they can join the regular forces as well. Is it clear? Now guys, see, I told you that principally the Agnipath scheme, they will be hired, they will be appointed for 4 years. After that they can continue or they can join some another work. Fine. Now guys, when they will be released, that is after the gap of after the 4 years, they will be given the Seva Nidhi package of 11.7 lakh rupees as well. These rupees they can use to start a business or to pursue any other venture. Now guys, understand this particular thing. This particular year, Ministry of Defense had said that more than 46,000 people will be 46,000 soldiers will be appointed. Now understand these people, this thing, that the youth who are being appointed under this Agnipath scheme, these soldiers will be called as Agni Veer. These soldiers will be called as Agni Veers. Now some other details about this Agnipath scheme. Now guys, I told you already that these Agni Veers will be enrolled for the duration of 4 years, including the training. Fine. Now I told you that a particular portion of these Agni Veers could stay in the regular defense forces as well. So 25% of Agni Veers from each batch will be enrolled into the regular cadres of the armed forces. Fine. Now guys, understand this particular thing. I talked about one particular fact, that they will be given Seva Nidhi package of this much amount. From where this Seva Nidhi package will be coming? So guys, understand that Agni Veer, while they are into their while they are on their duty, whatever the salary they are getting, 30% of their monthly salary, they have to actually contribute to the Agni Veer Corpus Fund. The matching amount, that is the same amount of 30%, will be matched by the government, and in 4 years it will accumulate to this particular amount. Is it clear or not? So this is all about the Agnipath scheme for appointing the young soldiers in the age of 17.5 to 21 years, and 4 years employment will be given. After that they can stay or they can look for another employment. So this is one way. Second way is that government has decided that the 10 lakh persons will be given the government job in next 18 months. And guys, here you can see that basically in group A, group B, group C, these many jobs are being given. Now government has not announced exactly how much job will be given by which department, by which ministry, but they have given a tentative number. Moreover, you don't need to see the number. Fine. In UPSC, you need to know about the themes. The numbers are not important. So basically, now guys, what has happened, actually there are a large number of vacancies into the government jobs. Now when we talk about the vacancies, you can see into the group A job there is a 15.9% vacancy. This is huge. In group B there is a 16.4% vacancies. Fine. Then group B, basically NG 31% vacancies, 21.4% vacancies. The total vacancies into the government jobs is 21.7%. These are the vacancies into the government jobs. They are to be filled and people are to be given the employment. This is the plan. Now mainly the people will be appointed into the railways, into the armed forces. I already told you, for the armed forces Agnipath scheme is there, and in the GST department. Is it clear? So this is something that has come. Again I'm telling, numbers is not important. Okay, the scheme is important and Agnipath scheme is important. Please keep it in your mind. Apart from that, there is nothing there in this particular article. So guys, I hope that you have understood in entirety this entire issue. Now moving to the next article. Okay, Now, guys, this particular article, again, a very important article. Here I have clubbed again the two articles. One is from the text and the context, and another article from the pages after the editorial section. Now, what this particular article is talking about? This article is talking about the Reuters Institute's Digital News Report 2022. Some very good information, some very good data have been provided by this particular report. Now, guys, first of all, where it will be important. So, GS paper number 2, GS paper number 2, media, GS paper number 2, media, role of media. Fine. This is important. Now, guys, understand this particular thing. Let's talk about some background. When we talk about a democracy, in a democracy, we have three pillars of democracy. We have legislature, we have executive, we have judiciary. But it is said that in democracies, actually, there is also a fourth pillar of democracy. What is this fourth pillar of democracy? It is the media. Why media? Because, guys, media empowers the democracy. How media empowers the democracy? Media is the one which actually provides the free information, and by information, it actually enlightens the people. And through the enlightenment, what comes? Enlightenment brings the empowerment. Again, I'll explain. Media provides information. Through information comes enlightenment, and from enlightenment comes the empowerment. So media empowers the people, and because media empowers the people, media is called as the fourth pillar of democracy. But now the media's role as the fourth pillar of democracy is diminishing. It is going down. Why? People don't trust media. People don't feel that consuming news is an important thing, and this is the exact highlight that has been provided by the Reuters Digital News Report 2022. Clear? So, guys, new Reuters, it is a media house. Now, what this particular report, Reuters Digital News Report 2020 says, it has flagged that there are the 6 trends that are emerging with respect to the media, with respect to the news consumption in the world, not only in India, into the entire world. Now, let's understand these 6 themes that have been talked about, and you'll understand this entire issue. Number 1, what it says that the people are trusting the news content less and less. People don't feel that the credible news is being given to you. People always think that there are some vested agenda, vested interest into the news. So trust onto the media, trust onto the news has reduced. Who says? Again, the source is very important. Reuters Digital News Report 2022, very credible, huge sample size, 46 countries have been surveyed. Fine. Secondly, what this particular survey says, it says that the consumption of traditional news media has declined nearly in all the countries. So traditional news, consuming the news by the newspapers, it has declined. Listening the news by the broadcast radios such as etc., it has declined. Now they say, very important, third trend that it has talked about, it says that the consumer of the news, now they avoid news, and a new word has now come, selective avoidance. This is very much prevalent. Now, what is selective avoidance? People want to see a particular type of news only. For example, you want to see only sports news, somebody wants to see just economic news. Now, when you just want to see economic news, you are avoiding political news, you are avoiding another types of news. So selective avoidance has also come now. Then the fourth, what has happened, it has said that there is actually a small increase in the proportion of people who are willing to pay for online news, but this increase is only into the rich countries. Guys, actually, I want to say this particular thing, even into the UPSC community. Fine, this is a fact. You also know this particular thing, that even in the UPSC community, where we know that what is the importance of having the credible information, very less people are actually willing to even pay for the subscription of the Hindu newspaper. Why? Because we feel that giving 100-150 rupees is something which could be avoided. We are ready to pay more money on cinema, we are ready to pay more money on Netflix, but not onto the news. So actually people are less willing, little bit increases there. Next, the fifth, it comes that actually the smartphone has now become the dominant way in which most people first access news in the morning. And even on the smartphone, what they are doing, they see the news on the Facebook, they see the news on the YouTube. Okay, and you know that what quality of news you will find onto the Facebook. Okay, though this is also coming onto the YouTube, but all these things are taken from the Hindu, which is believed to be one of the most credible newspaper. Chalo, anyhow, what is more worrisome? More worrisome is that TikTok has become the fastest growing news network. 40% of the people into this particular age, they are basically consuming a lot of news from the TikTok. Now guys, it has, now let's see the reasons. What are the reasons that trust onto the news is reducing, people are consuming less news? Now guys, understand that first of all, today youth, they feel indifference to the news. They see that why we need to consume news, why we need to be updated. They see that how it will make our life better. So there is an indifference to news that has come, number one. Number two, what has happened, there is a perception into the people that that there are the political or some other kind of biases by the media. Some media glorifies some particular type of people. Fine, so there are some biases into the media. Media is not showing the true news. Because of that, the interest into the news has reduced. Then guys, next thing it has been provided, that actually it is said that undue influence from business is also there. 19% people agreeing that news organization put only 19%, only 19% out of the total people, they say that the media is putting the news which is best for the society and are not bothered about commercial interest. It means that still 81% people think that the media shows only what is better for the media houses. Now guys, let's talk about India. So when we talk about India, India is a mobile focused market. It means that 72% of the people who were surveyed, they access news through smartphones. 35% people do it by computer. 84% of Indian respondents basically they see news online, and out of that 63% people see the news onto the social media, Facebook, Instagram, etc. Is it clear? So guys, India centric data is important. Directly pick the data from this particular line, directly download the PDF from the channel and use it. Fine. Now moving to guys the next art. Now moving. Okay, so guys, whatever is there in this particular article, all the things have been covered. Okay, apart from that, nothing is there. Clear? Now moving to the next article. Elderly lack financial social security study, a very important study. Even this study has been endorsed by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Very important facts, datas with respect to the elder people have been given. So be very careful. Now, first of all, where this particular article is going to be important. So guys, this particular article is going to be important in our GS paper number 1. In GS paper number 1, you have the social issues. So in the social issues, this is going to be important. Secondly, this article is going to be important in GS paper number 2. In GS paper number 2, we have the social justice. And in the social justice, we have the vulnerable sections of society, vulnerable people. In the vulnerable people, we have the elder. In vulnerable, we have the elder. So there, this important data is going to be relevant. Fine, GS1, GS2, fine. So I hope you got the breakout. GS2 में social justice में vulnerable section में elders. Fine. Now let's talk about this particular article. So guys, what happens? First of all, the survey has been, a national survey has been carried by the Help Age India. Now, what is the Help Age India? Help Age India is the non-governmental organization who is working for the welfare of the elderly people. Now, the Help Age India has carried the survey and the report has been released by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. This particular report, why it has been released? It has been released onto the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Again, I'll repeat, it has been released onto the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Fine. Now, what this particular report talks about? This report has talked about two things. Number one, economic vulnerability of the elder people in India. Second, it has talked about that the physical vulnerability of the elder is also a concern. Let's see the data. Now, guys, again I'm repeating one thing. Data, sometimes it looks that okay, it is a lot of work to remember them, but guys, please understand, though hairline datas are not at all important for UPSC exam, but broad datas are the things which authenticate your answer. Please note them down in your notes. Number one, 47% of elderly people are economically dependent on their families for income. Okay, 34% relied on pensions and cash transfers, and 40% of the surveyed people have expressed that a desire to work. They say that we want to work as long as possible, we don't want to sit. Okay, but obviously why they are not able to work? Because the job opportunities for the old elder people are not there in India. So it shows the economic vulnerability. Again, please pay attention. 47% of people say that they are economically dependent on their families. Fine. 34% rely on pension. It means they don't have savings. It means they don't have certain sources or revenue streams they don't have. Even they want to work now. Fine. Now, why they want to work? Two reasons. Number one, they want to reduce their economic dependence. Number two, they want to get engaged in some productive thing. So, what we need to focus now, we need to focus, or it highlights the need to pay greater attention to the social security for senior citizens. They don't have much of a social security. Then, next, the report says that the 52% of the elderly, they say this particular thing, that they have inadequate income. 40% people say that they don't feel financially secure. They don't feel that they can take care of their expenses. Then 57% people say that the expenditure was in excess of their savings. Suppose they, even let's say the people who had their savings, but now the expenditure that they are doing, their savings will not be sufficient enough to cover them. Okay, 45% people said that pension amount was not enough for their survival. So again, what it shows, the economic vulnerability of the elders in India. There are certain good things also. 87% of elder people say that there is availability of good healthcare facilities nearby. So healthcare facilities have improved, they are good. But at the same time, it is said that the app based online healthcare facilities are not properly available. 78% elders mentioned unavailability of app based online healthcare facility. Is it clear? 67% elder people say that they don't have health insurance at this critical stage. Now guys, you understand this particular thing, that out of pocket expenditure, OOPE, out of pocket expenditure means, suppose a person got ill, he need to have a treatment. Now for that particular treatment, he is actually not having the money. He had to pay either by selling some jewelry, by selling his land, or some kind of thing. So out of pocket expenditure, the expenditure which you have to do but you don't have it with you, it is called an out of pocket expenditure. In India, out of pocket expenditure is 62%. It means 62% of entire expenditure that is being done onto the health, people did not had money for that. Elder people, they could have used the health insurance, but they don't have health insurance. 67% of elderly people, they say they don't have any health insurance. So actually they are very much vulnerable. Then guys, the next is the physical vulnerability. It says that the elder abuse is perceived. High elder abuse is perceived. 59% of the elder felt, 59% of elder feel that abuse was prevalent. But guys, reporting is very much less. Only 10% reported that they have actually been abused. Why they don't report? Many reasons are there. Number one reasons, if they report, their families will ostracize them, that we are giving you food, we are keeping you, but you are complaining about us. Their families will ostracize. Social taboo is there. Clear? Fine, this is something. Moreover, attachment with the children's, whatever they do, it is also a kind of a practical reality. So this is guys all about this particular article. Now let's move to the next article. Malnutrition in India is a worry in a modern scenario. Okay, so guys, this is an editorial, a good one. Now this particular editorial, again, it is going to be important in GS paper number 2, social justice, and within the social justice, in the topic of hunger, directly it has been mentioned in your syllabus. There this particular article is going to be important. Clear? Now let's discuss this particular article. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about any country, what is the most important resource of a country? The most important resource is the human resource. And in the same way, India also is having one of the largest population. Not only the largest population, we are having the young population. This young population is our greatest asset. It is our greatest wealth. But guys, still the condition of women and children is not very much good. They have a there is a very big concern, that is the nutritional status is not good. Now guys, when we talk about the nutritional status, mother and child are very closely related. If the mother's nutritional status is good, mother might be able to give good health to the child. Why? Number one, when a woman is pregnant, when a child is conceived by a woman, at that point of a time, if mother will be healthy, if mother's nutritional status is good, the child that is going to be born, it will have good weight. Child will not have inborn malnutritional deficiencies. So mother and child are very much related. However, at the same time, if mother is sick, if mother is not properly nutritioned, child will not be healthy. Now understand that, guys, that today's children, 3 years back economic survey, it has entire chapter where it said that the today's child is tomorrow's worker. If today's child will not be fit, tomorrow's worker will not be fit. If tomorrow's worker will not be fit, economic prospects of the country are not going to be better. So in order to take care of the tomorrow's worker, you need to take care of child, and in order to take care of child, you need to take care of mother. Nutritional take care needs to be there. Now guys, it has been said that what are the reasons that the malnutrition is such a big problem. See, first of all, you need to understand it is not the case that the improvement is not there. Over the last few years, see, poverty is actually declining. It is said, though I tell you, beyond the scope of this article, there are no data to testify that whether what is the trajectory of poverty, but it can be assumed that poverty is declining. We have achieved the self-sufficiency in food production, success of the green revolution. Large number of government schemes have been implemented. National Food Security Act is there, many other schemes are there. But guys, still what the data says, recently the National Family Health Survey 5 was released. Recently, the National Family Health Survey 5 was released, and it said that in malnutrition there is only marginal improvement. Clear? In India, we have a high prevalence of anemia. What is the anemia? Anemia is caused because of the iron deficiency. Anemia is caused when a person is not able to consume enough of leafy vegetables. Now, in anemia, what happens? Basically, it is a condition where the number of red blood cells or the hemoglobin concentration in them is less than the normal. And if anemia, if the RBCs will be less, a person will not be able to work effectively. It will impact the capacity of individual. Now, in India, it is according to the data of the National Family Health Survey 5, 57% of women, high number, 57% of women in the age of 15 to 49, they are having anemia. Children, 67% of children from the 6 months to 59 months, they are suffering from anemia. So if so many of the people, 57% of women, 67% of children are suffering from anemia, obviously their health is going to be impacted. It has been said that the developing countries lose around 4.05% of GDP per annum due to the iron deficiency. India is losing so much because of the iron deficiency. India is losing around 1.8% of GDP annually because of the iron deficiency. Now, this is not a very big intervention, which it is not actually a very big problem. Through small steps, it could be addressed, but it is not being done, and so much of the GDP of India is getting suffered. Then, guys, next, it has been provided that what could be the solutions? There are many solutions. See, first of all, guys, there is actually need to increase the financial commitment. Now, there are two of the important schemes which want to address, which actually tries to address the nutrition in the women and children. Anganwadi, Saksham Anganwadi. So guys, now the Anganwadis, they are now being upgraded as the new age Anganwadis. So the new age Anganwadis are the Saksham Anganwadis. Now Anganwadis cater to different type of services to the women and child, including the nutritional services. So through the Anganwadi, nutrition can be provided to the women, and the Poshan Abhiyan, Poshan 2.0, Poshan Abhiyan of the government, which also wants to provide the nutrition to the women and child. These are the two schemes. Under Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan, the nutrition can be provided. But guys, the budgetary allocation is not up to the mark. Very less increase into the budget is there. Moreover, 32% of the funds that were given under the Poshan Abhiyan, they have not been utilized. So Poshan important scheme, पहला तो पैसा है ही नहीं, बट जितना है वो भी यूटिलाइज नहीं हो रहा है. Very big problem. Then the next, it talks about that, see, India need to adopt an outcome oriented approach to the nutrition program. Basically, parliamentarians, they need to take the responsibility that they need to themselves increase the awareness of the issue of malnutrition in their constituencies. They need to themselves come out with the solution. Let's say that what will work in their constituency, what will not work in their constituency. The parliamentarians need to bring this particular matter very clearly. So two things. Number one, increase the budget for the Poshan and the Saksham Anganwadi. Number two, parliamentarians need to take a personal accountability. Third, basically, we need to directly engage with the nutritionally vulnerable group. Who are the nutritionally vulnerable group? Elder people, pregnant women, young children. We need to directly engage with them, and directly delivery of nutrition services should be provided to them. Then the education and general awareness will play a very important role. Clear, sometimes people don't understand the importance of good nutrition, sound nutrition, so educating the mothers, children also will play a very important role, and only then the malnutrition free India, anemia free India can be achieved. So this is guys all about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll move to the next article. The way to end child marriage. Now this particular article again is going to be very important in GS paper number 2, again in the section of social justice. In the child related issues, this is going to be important because it is talking about child marriage. Secondly, the women related issues, it is also going to be important. Clear, because many times the girls are being married because of some reasons, we'll see in this article. So in the children related issues, in the women related issues, it is going to be important. Moreover guys, this article can also be important under the education related issues. Why? Because when the child marriage will happen, obviously the education of the children is going to be impacted. Fine. Now let's talk about the child marriages. First of all, what are the child marriage? Guys, basically according to UNICEF, any child who is getting married below the legal age, that will be the case of child marriage. Now the legal age for marriage in the countries are different. When we talk about India, in India we have a law, that is PCMA, Prohibition of Child Marriage Act 2006. Under this particular act, it is said that what will be the legal age. So basically it is 18 years for boys, it is 21 years for boys and 18 years for girls. So it means if any boy is getting married below 21 years, it is in a case of child marriage. If any girl is getting married below the age of 18 years, it is the case of child marriage. Now guys, child marriages, are rampant in India. It is a kind of a very big problem. And what is the solution for child marriage? Last year there was a commission, I'll tell you the name, Jaya Jaitley Commission. Now the Jaya Jaitley Commission recommended to the government of India that actually what we can do, we need to increase the age of the girls. For legal age for the girls for the marriage needs to be increased. So right now it is 18, let's increase it from 18 to 21 years. If the legal age for marriage for the girls will increase to 21 years, child marriages in India will reduce. So this was something that was suggested. Government even tried to bring a kind of an amendment on this particular suggestion. Now let's discuss that whether this suggestion of increasing the age from 18 to 21 years is going to solve the problem or not. Now guys, it has been said that, see, there are certain facts that have been given into this particular article. Article says that there is actually a huge association between early marriages and adverse health and educational outcomes of the women and children. Clear? It says that actually when there are the early marriages, it brings early pregnancies, which impacts the health of the women. The women who are getting married early, they don't have much of awareness about the care that they have to take in pregnancy. Prenatal, the postnatal care, antenatal care, they don't know about that particular thing. They don't know how to educate their children. Maternal morbidity, maternal mortality increases when the women are getting married early. Obviously they don't have much awareness about the nutrition well-being. It impacts their health, it impacts the child that are being conceived by the marriage, in the marriage. That is also a problem. So there are huge problems because of the child marriage. Now guys, it has said that actually child marriages are not only because of the fact that the age of marriage for the girls is less, that is 18 years. And there is not a magic pill that if you will increase it to 21 years, automatically the child marriages will reduce. It says that there are much more other complexities also that why child marriages are happening. So guys, it has been said that actually there are certain reasons. It says that first of all, why the girl, the childs are married at a minor age. There are because of the social norms, and because of it is the cultures that the parents have to marry a girl in an early age. This thing, that first of all, dowry is a very big problem. So as the age of the girl will increase, is it clear, there will be more dowry that has to be given. Let's say guys that suppose if a girl is being married at the age of 15 years, obviously she will be married around the similar age of boy also. At that age, the boy had not done much educationally, he had not done much professionally. So basically the groom price, we use this word groom price, it will be low, less dowries to be given. Secondly, there is the poverty in India. Now guys, the girls, they are thought as an economic burden, and this economic burden is to be get rid of, so therefore they are getting married. So because of the social norms such as the dowry, because of the poverty, the girls are getting married. Moreover guys, see, there are no proper educational opportunities for the girls in India. Fine, because of educational opportunities are not there, parents think that let them get married. This is the issue, that why the girls marriages are there in India. Now guys, let's talk about some data given by the National Family Health Survey 5. National Family Health Survey 5 says that actually 25% of the women in India between the age of 18 to 29 years, they were married before their legal marriageable age. 25% of the girls are being married into the age of less than 18 years. Now the number has reduced little bit. In National Family Health Survey 4, 28% girls were being married before the age of 18. Now guys, it has been said that actually, with in terms of economic status of the families who are marrying their daughters, 58% of the child marriages take place in the poorest wealth groups. Only 2% of them take place among the top 10% of the wealth groups. It means poor people are marrying their girls more. Only 4% of child marriages in India takes place among women who have completed 12 years of education. So guys, see, two things you can note down here. The families who are economically well, they are not marrying too much of they are not getting they are not going for too much of child marriages. The girls who have done 12 years of education, their numbers of child marriage is also very much less. So now basically it has been said that what you need to focus upon, rather than focusing on increasing just the age from 18 to 21 years, you need to focus that number one, how at least 12 years of education can be provided, because the moment this much education has been achieved by the girls, she will be not be married below the 18 years, she will be married after a legal age. Second, how to bring the economic prosperity of the household. This is something that we need to be focused upon. Is it clear or not? So therefore, Prohibition of Child Marriage Amendment Bill 2021, which tries to increase the age to 21, will not be a effective fix. What we need to do, we need to make sure that first of all, that women should complete the education of 12 years at least. In this particular thing, the case study of Bangladesh can be taken. Now what Bangladesh has done, Bangladesh has improved the women's education. Bangladesh is specifically providing the modern skills to the women, and basically their employability is being increased into the Bangladesh, and by that the child marriages in Bangladesh has come down. So we need to learn from the Bangladesh. Is it clear? Now guys, it has been said that we need to come out with the schemes that eases the financial burden of marriage. Is it clear or not? So government need to enforce the dowry laws in India. Government need to make sure that the financial burden on poor are not disproportionate. Such kind of innovative schemes are to be brought. So this is something. Now I will give you some additional concept. One more additional thing I want to talk upon, guys. See, increasing the age from 18 to 21 years is not going to be a magic pill. Why? Because guys, the enforcement is more important. See, आज के time पे age क्या है? Today the age is 18. Have you enforced this 18 years of age properly? No. Why? Because the National Family Health Survey 5, National Family Health Survey 5 says that even when 18-year age is there, still 25% of the girls are being married before the 18 years. So first enforce this 18-year age, then think about going to 21 years. Is it clear? Moreover guys, I can recall few months back there was a kind of a very good article by the Odisha's SPCR, that is Odisha's Commission for Protection of Child Rights, CPCR, Odisha's Commission for Protection of Child Rights. So there was a very good article that was there, which have talked about that why increasing the age from 18 to 21 years is not a good suggestion. I'll try to share that particular article in today's Telegram. Today I'll try to share that article. Okay, if I find that, read that particular article. That is a very good article. Okay, so either it was by the CPCR or it was by the Commission for Women. Fine, doesn't matter. I'll try to share that particular article. Read that. Very good suggestions are given. So that is all about this particular article. Now we'll move to the next article. Dictates for doctors. Now guys, this particular article, it is just talking about what has happened recently. The NMC, that is the National Medical Commission, has published a draft of the regulations for the professional conduct of doctors. Clear? And it had invited the public comments. Now guys, you don't need to see this particular article at this point. Why? Because number one, it is just a draft. it has not been finalized. There will be many amendments that are going to come as public comments will come, then there will be the deliberations that is going to do. So right now reading it is not important. Once final version is prepared or once these regulations have been passed, then we need to see. Fine, no need to track that unnecessarily. Now, can the new Google chatbot be sentient? So this article is taken from the text and the context, and it will be important in GS paper number 3, that is the technology, that is the role of technology, the evolution of technology. Now guys, first of all, before going in this particular article, I'll tell you a little bit of background. I'm going to tell you a little bit of background. So basically what has happened recently, the Google has designed Lambda. Google has designed Lambda. What is this Lambda? Lambda, it is a conversational tool. Fine, you can talk with it. For example, let's say it is a kind of a artificial intelligence tool. You can talk with it. It can give you certain answers. It can engage in conversation, etc. So this is the Lambda. Now guys, this Lambda was actually tested. Okay, the Lambda was tested with a person with the person. Now the person had given the feedback that this Lambda, it is having an artificial intelligence, and many a times when I was having conversations with this particular platform, I wanted to run certain experiments. It forced me to take a consent. It forced me to take a consent. It says that the artificial intelligence is evolving so much that it is now not into the control of the humans. It has evolved at its own. Now this is a very big thing that it was asking for the consent, but see guys where it is going in the future. In future, artificial intelligence will evolve so much that it will try to overpower. It will not be bound with the dictates of the humans. Fine, and a kind of some dangerous future could be there. Clear? So that was the incident. Now guys, not too much important for UPSC, but where AI is going, that is something that we need to see here. Clear? आपको बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में नहीं जाना है. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about the artificial intelligence, what is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence means the capabilities of the machines to mimic the human intelligence. Again, I'll say artificial intelligence is the capability of the machines to mimic the human intelligence. Now guys, the Alan Turing, fine, he was the one who designed Enigma. Now what is Enigma? Enigma was a type of a computer which was used to break the German codes during the time of the World War II. Alan Turing envisaged that the artificial intelligence could be a future which could mimic the human intelligence. And now guys, many artificial intelligence platforms we are having. And what are these artificial intelligence platforms? For example guys, Facebook's facial recognition software, it identifies the faces into the photos that you post, tells that okay, this photos of Mr. X, this photos of Mr. Y. It is artificial intelligence. Then the voice recognition software, you give some command to the Alexa recognizes, understands your command. You say Alexa, play song, the song will be played. It is an artificial intelligence. Clear? Google Translate app, okay, it is translating Hindi to Malayalam to Tamil. It is an example of artificial intelligence. So artificial technologies are around us, they are evolving. Now guys, when we talk about artificial intelligence, in the artificial intelligence, first the chatbots came. First were the chatbots that came. Now what are these chatbots? Now guys, these chatbots are the simple applications where you will raise a certain question and the bot, the machine, the computer will give you a kind of an answer. For example, onto the Telegram, there are many of the people who have their bots. You answer them, automatically a reply will come, hello, I want to inquire about this particular course. This is the fees. These are the chatbots. For example, IRCTC. It has a chatbot by the name of Disha. Clear? You can inquire something about the railways and the Disha chatbot of IRCTC will tell you about the railways. Now guys, when we talk about these chatbots have certain limitations. They can give some predetermined answers that have been fed into them on only a particular topic. For example, Disha is the chatbot of IRCTC. Now what IRCTC has done? IRCTC has actually already envisaged that what type of queries will be asked by the passengers, and pre-designed responses, answers have been fed into this Disha which it will give. You asked Disha about For example, the stock market, it will not able to tell. Why? Because it can handle only specific type of questions which have been pre-fed. So these chatbots were the early artificial intelligence, but now the artificial intelligence, it is based on a new emerging and very radical technology, that is the neural networks. Now what is the neural network? Now guys, the neural network is an artificial technology. Now see, humans in the brains, they have neurons. In the humans, they have the neurons. Billions and billions of neurons are there into the human brain. Now these neurons, they have synaptic connections with each other, and because of these billions of neurons containing information, having synaptic complex connections with each other, they think, they come out with a solution, they come out with innovative ideas and all these things. Now what is neural network? Neural network is an artificial technology which mimics the human neurons, the brain neurons, it tried to mimic. And guys, through basically attaching the information with each other, through many such combinations as we have in our brain, neural network also tries to provide artificial intelligence of highest level. Today artificial neural network, fine, are developing, which is very sophisticated of AI technology. Now guys, when we talk about this neural networks, ANN, artificial neural network, clear, see this particular thing, they are to be trained, they are to be trained. For example, image recognition software, image recognition software, it could be based on to the neural network technique. अब आपको करना क्या है यहाँ पे? Suppose you had made a platform, it wants to recognize the image. Now millions and billions of image are to be fed into it. Fine, and by that it will learn how to make the patterns into the image. Is it clear or not? Now guys, earlier working onto these neural networks was difficult, because I told you that it has to first fed with a lot of information, only then it can make the patterns. But now even this problem has been solved. How this problem has been solved? Big data, huge big data that is there. Today so much of data is being generated every moment, and through the increasing computational capacity, this data can be fed automatically into the neural networks. By this huge data they can learn, and these neural networks are becoming even more efficient. So tomorrow artificial intelligence is going to be more sophisticated. In this sophistication, there is a threat that it can bypass the humans. We need to be ready about that. So this is the core message that is there. Now the lambda, as I talked about, what is the lambda? Lambda stands for language model for dialogue application. It is developed by Google. It is Google's modern conversational agent, and it is based onto the neural network technology. It is capable of deep learning. It can learn with it can learn a lot by by feeding information in it. Now guys, understand this lambda, it is different. Why? Because it just doesn't recognizes the images, etc. Now in this 1.56 trillion words have been fed, public dialogue data have been fed, and it can actually engage in social topics, social issues, political issues, economical issues. Fine, it is very much sophisticated. Clear? So this is something that is about this particular article. Now I'll move to the next article, and this is the last article. New plan to save jumbos from the train hits. Now guys, elephants many a times they come onto the railway tracks, they are hit by the trains, and many of them die. In the last 10 years, 186 elephants have been died because of the collisions with the trains. Now we need to save these elephants. This article is going to be important in GS paper number 3, conservation. Now guys, it has been said that, see, it is not the case that the states which are having the largest number of elephants, they will have the largest elephant accidents and deaths. That is not the case. The report has been provided. Fine. Basically the Wildlife Institute of India had said this particular thing. It has said that actually what is the problem, that the elephant accidents are there. It says that the more number of elephant accidents are into those states which have much slopes, which have more hilly terrain. It says that when the elephants are coming from the slopes, these slopes are tricky for the elephants. Now elephants come very slowly on these particular slopes. It is said that when we talk about elephant, these are the only mammal with the 6 toes, and because of these 6 toes, they have a very strong grip on the slopes. But it makes the elephant slow also. They take more time to come down from the slopes, and when the tracks are located near the slope, for example, this is the slope and here there is a track. So when the tracks are located near the slopes, fine, they take lot more time in crossing these tracks, and then the accidents happen. Now what is the solution for these things, it is said that when the slopes are there and along the slopes the railway tracks is there, we need to create underpass or a dedicated elephant passes, but it is very much expensive exercise. So now government had said that rather than creating the underpasses, we will be coming out with some other solution. What is the solution? Government says that fencing could be done at the selected location where a lot of accidents happen. Signage boards need to be erected so that the loco pilots, the ones who are driving the trains, they get to know that okay, this is the zone where the elephants cross. They become more careful. So around the elephant corridors, signage boards can be erected. Sensitizing the train crew and the station master. Fine. Clearing the vegetation on the sides of the track within railway land. Clear, so that they don't get trapped into the vegetation. Fine. Then deputing a forest department staffer in railway control office to liaison with the railway. So forest department and railways can liaison, and forest department officers can educate, can tell about the railways that okay, these are the zones where the elephants pass and all such kind of things. So these are some of the low cost interventions that can be done. Now guys, understand this particular thing. Being a UPSC aspirant, if you are being asked to give some kind of an suggestion, then guys, the thing is that you need to also give the suggestions which are sustainable, which are cost effective. So these are something that could be given. So that is all guys about this particular article. And guys, this is all about the today's newspaper analysis. And as I said that let's complete our analysis before the 7. So this is guys all about today, and if you have done this entire video, you have covered exhaustively all the issues that were there. Not only the issues, the static as well as the background and way forwards also we have done. So guys, it was a very fruitful session. Thank you all, thanks for your support, keep supporting, and let's have this session even more fruitful. So that is all for today. I'll be meeting you tomorrow. Till then guys, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. Have a